Good morning, I'm Kat, and this is today's tarot. I know it's been a while since I put up one of these readings. As I've mentioned before, I'm in the process of moving. You can see my new space is up in the mountains, and there's lots of birds, which is really quite lovely. I'm still figuring out where I want to shoot my videos. I obviously still need to hang something over the fuse box behind my couch that my mom reupholstered as one of the last things that she reupholstered before she passed about 10 years ago. So it's a special couch for me. But let's go ahead and jump into today's tarot. This weekend, I've been teaching a workshop with a few other teachers on intensive medicine making, or the art of medicine making, which has been a lot of fun, but it has taken a lot of my attention. So I'm sorry I haven't been around for you guys. I have had a couple people reach out and just like my videos and say something to me as a comment, which I've considered to be really encouraging, and I appreciate so much, because sometimes we can just dive into the things that we're doing, and it means a lot to me that people are reaching out and reminding me that they appreciate my showing up in their world. So thank you for that. Today's tarot. Let's go. All right, first card for today, we have the Page of Wands. This is a card that is associated with Sagittarius and also our own inner search for something higher. So we're going into today looking for something that connects us to a place of our higher self and a place of the divine. So the wand that the Sagittarian is carrying in this picture, or that the page is carrying in this picture, is a sense of will. And it's that fire within you that calls you to study things, to go beyond your normal common path, so to speak. The Sagittarian energy is energy of traveling and also of higher education. And so we're going into today with this sense of what we're searching for, what we're looking for. And that comes from this fiery place inside of our own heart. The challenge that we're going to run into today, let me just bring all these cards forward here. Challenge that we're running into today is the 10 of Cups. So this is an emotional wish come true, but it's challenging. It may be that we feel called to do something, or called to create something that is very emotionally satisfying in our lives, and there is a challenge to it. There's something in the way of it. And it may be that image that we have so crystallized in our minds around what that happily ever after looks like, that could actually be the challenge, which is why it's showing up in this position. Now, the way we get through the challenge is the 7 of Cups. So as you can see, we go from a 10 to a 7, which is going from crystallization back to something more simple numerologically. And so the 7 of Cups is this idea around illusions of happiness, right? Like, we've been raised on this idea of so many different fairy tales and what culturally happiness looks like, as far as this sense of attainment and this thing that's solid. But it's really important for us to realize that the emotional body is a fluid system, just like water, which is why the emotions are associated with water. They have many different forms. It can be liquid, it can be solid, as in the case of ice and cutting, or it can be evaporating, kind of like distillation of rain, which is very interesting because I'm teaching a distillation workshop today. But the idea that I want to communicate here is that we have a number of different cups that we may feel called to reach for. And in that cup is something that feeds us or serves us or nurtures us, or possibly not, depending on which cup we reach for. And so this is really calling us to ask, what is it emotionally that nourishes you and feeds you? And make sure you reach for that cup, because there are possibly some cups that you've been conditioned to reach for that have actually caused you and brought you a lot of suffering. So how do you set down those cups and pick up the ones that are actually nourishing. And also realizing that some of the cups that we pick up are for our loved ones and for the people that are nearest and dearest to us. And so how can we take that into consideration too, rather than just our own emotional ideals? Now, the way that we're going to get through, the overall energy for today is the Seven of Swords. So we have two sevens that showed up today. And sevens are associated with learning through an experience. And this is a sword ruled card, which means it's attached to our mental thoughts, our mental energy, the dialogues that we have with ourselves internally inside of our own mind. And this is bringing us to understand that it's our experiences that we can learn the most from. This is a person that is collecting their thoughts and moving forward and going out on their own with what they are witnessing within themselves. And they're also leaving two swords behind. So it's an interesting context to, I guess, understand how much our mind and our body and our emotions all interplay with one another. And oftentimes the inner dialogue that we create in our own mind can be the most limiting thing in our lives, because it puts this weight on our emotions, and our emotions have to bear it. And the interesting thing about emotions is that they're supposed to move, but the mind wants to solidify things so that it can understand things. And the mind, though, is much like the wind, and it is shifting and changing depending on its influences, depending on its impressions that it is fed with. And so this is an outcome overall today of us collecting our thoughts and actually looking at our thoughts and seeing which ones are in our way of moving toward what is emotionally satisfying for us and our higher calling, because the Page of Wands is associated with our higher calling. So that is the reading for today. I send you all good wish, and I look forward to putting up more regular videos again as I get situated. We did have an amazing full moon lunar eclipse a few days ago, and I hope some of you got to see that, because it was a beautiful impression. I send you a good wish, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Mwah.